You know, one of the lines I love, clap along if you know that happiness is the truth. Yeah. I want to tell you a little bit about my week and how happy it was. I was gone, as you all know. I told Roland to tell you that I was running a half marathon last Sunday, and I did, and I finished. Yay! Thanks. And it was a really wonderful experience. I got to run with my son and his wife, and they went slow enough for me. It was perfect. It was great. And we all finished, and it was in Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. And after we ran the race and lied down for an hour, we walked around California Adventure. It was a wonderful experience. And I wanted to share a little bit about the week, about the happy part of the week and the unhappy part of the week and the up and down. Because I know you have weeks like this. I know we all have the things that happen that we think they make us happy, and they might not. When I first got to California, Roland found me a great ticket. It was a nonstop ticket, which is hard to find from Des Moines anywhere, from Des Moines to LA, but it was for a whole week. And I thought, well, I'm going to give Kelly and Sarah, my son and his wife, a little space. So I very nobly, with great sacrifice to myself, arranged 2 nights on a hotel by the beach. I am a self-sacrificing individual, yes. So, to give them a little space. And I have to say, yes, that's good. Judy did a, It was wonderful. I had this marvelous time, and it was great. And then Friday night, Kelly and Sarah were going to come out and have dinner with me, and I was all excited. And then Kelly called up Friday and said, Sarah's sick, and so we're not coming tonight, but I'll see you tomorrow morning. And I said, oh, I'm disappointed, it'll be okay, but you got to know that there's a part of my mind that, you know, for about 5 or 10 seconds could go right to the dark side. I'm not important. You know, how can, you know, what if Sarah's sick? Maybe you should drive in the car and come see me by yourself, you know, all that kind of thing. And I am really happy to say that my spiritual training really interrupted me. I thought, wait a minute, this is ridiculous. This is not about me. And of course, it wasn't about me. And I got my center back and said, besides, how silly, I'll see them both tomorrow. So what's the big deal? I was it was one of those lessons that, you see how easy it is to make up bad stories. Anytime, any place, about something that has nothing to do with any of us. And then the rest of the week was great. We had fun. We had fun in Disneyland. We had fun together. I came home. And then Friday, I had the honor of speaking at a memorial service for somebody who was at Unity a long time ago. Maybe he hasn't been here for 15 years. Norland Champ is his name. And it's funny, it was just the family wanted to have a graveside service. It was outside. It was Friday. It was raining. And it was kind of a miserable time, cold and wet around the graveside. But it was also beautiful. It's always beautiful when people are remembered who are passing, and this was particularly beautiful. A short service. The man requested that he wanted a Unity minister because this very church had been so important to him, 20 and 30 years ago. And he had moved away 15 years ago, but when he, his last wishes were that he would have a service with the Unity minister. And there was he'd served in World War II, so there was also military with the folding of the flag and the taps. And the reason I wanted to bring this up because it was so moving. Just to be with the family, and we all get touched by the beautiful service of somebody giving and the sound of the taps, you know. And I mean, I cried a bucket because it reminded me of my dad and his service and my mom. And I know it reminds all of us of people we've lost. Now, the spiritual principle here that I want to talk about is the principle of happiness in regards to the spiritual gifts of faith and healing. So bear in mind what we think about happiness and how often happiness can look in so many different ways. You know, there's happiness at Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. There's also true, deep happiness actually at the graveside of a loved one. There is happiness in the love and the connection. So really, that just tells me in a big, dramatic way that happiness has nothing to do with what's going on. Even if it is the most frickin' gorgeous day, like it is today, and I'm happy, it really has nothing to do with what's outside. I've been talking about spiritual gifts, and I want to talk about the spiritual gift of faith and the spiritual gift of healing. And in the context that spiritual gifts often come out in the community to help the rest of us. Like, you may not even know that you have a spiritual gift for faith until you're sitting, having coffee, talking to someone, and telling them that you know it'll be okay. And that's your spiritual gift of faith. Now, what I believe about the gift of faith is that it is given to us for the times that we do not feel that spiritual connection. When we are not operating as the Christ pattern, when the times in between, when we are not acting as the compassionate one, when we are not in the moment, we have been given the gift of faith to carry us over, to remember that whatever we are seemingly thinking or feeling about being disconnected from God or from our happiness or from the way we want things to be, the gift of faith reminds us that this will pass. It's not the truth. That this temporary feeling or situation or circumstance is not the truth. I believe that's the gift of faith, and I think that that is one gift we really have a lot for each other. That is when we can definitely come into play, when we feel our connection to Spirit, and we can remind each other when we're feeling badly or unhappy about anything. I believe that that's a beautiful example of the gift of faith. I know you can think of times when somebody had the gift of faith for you. And maybe it was a friend in a book, a spiritual teacher. I get a lot of spiritual teaching from books, and those authors remind me. It's a big help for me. Or a video. I tell you what, I watched that video a couple times to see if I could get those little ads off, and I couldn't, but it made me, I was getting happier and happier. This cheered me up, looking at all those people dancing and singing, reminding me of the choice to be happy. Now, the gift of healing. Everybody, if you're a human being, you have the gift of healing. Now, I am going to, when I started thinking about the gift of healing, I thought about the way that healing is in the body, and I found a goofy little video, but I want to show it to you. It has no sound, but it is a video of the way bones form continually and regenerate in the body. It's just a very short video. So let's watch this, and then I'll talk about it. capillaries. To begin the process of bone renovation, well, I can't read that fast enough. But as you're watching this, obviously it's an animation. Think about the miracle that's happening inside you right now. And this last little bit, notice the bridges. Okay. I was really looking for that process of how something is created inside of us to actually form, that all of our body is being recreated day by day, cell by cell. And it happens all the time. And I don't even have to tell it what to do. And neither do you. It just happens. It happens when we fracture a bone too. It's different, but the same process helps to heal us. And I really thought about healing and how often healing physically and also all the other ways we heal. We heal emotionally and spiritually, and as we heal communities, and as we heal our world. I have that globe lighted right now for a reason, because it is critical that all of us do everything we can to heal our world. There's some sad and horrible things going on in the news, and we want to encircle the globe with our healing love. Our very nature, our spiritual nature, is like this bright diamond. Everybody here in this room is an amazing being of light and an amazing creature with a soul that shines and can heal, just the way our body can heal at any moment. Our soul can heal at any moment. I wanted to check a few points. Now, the process of healing that we teach in Unity is we teach that it's love. It is a consciousness of love that has a tendency to bring about healing. And it is positive, loving thoughts and consciousness that helps to create the consciousness of healing. Just as sometimes negative thoughts and judging and the right and wrong, whenever you're into right and wrong, that's a consciousness that can have a tendency to block healing. It just has that tendency. And we're really firm on that in Unity. We stand in the truth of the statement that we can hold a positive consciousness, and a positive consciousness brings about positive results. The first thing, the way I wanted to bring in the happy video was that we often, life is hard. Not everybody here has had great joy and great sorrow and great trouble to live through. Everybody here. Probably even those sweet, darling children downstairs in the Sunday school have had great joy and great sorrow too. Because that is the nature of life on earth. And that is our spiritual job, our spiritual evolving, is to choose to be happy and choose to hold the consciousness of unconditional love. The consciousness of unconditional love is where the healing happens. And that is why we spend a lot of time trying to inspire ourselves with spiritual teachings, or being inspired, I shouldn't say trying, being inspired with spiritual teachings, hanging out with awesome spiritual uplifting people, listening to beautiful music like we get to listen to every Sunday, practicing different spiritual practices. The Dances of Universal Peace is a great example of a practice. One of the best things about that I find is that you can kind of skip your brain. It goes right into your heart and your body as you're doing, dancing and holding each other's hands and bowing and connecting on an eye-to-eye level and a heart-to-heart. You can skip that talking. Also talking. Let's not forget talking. Also connecting on that level. We do all those things because it promotes this consciousness of unconditional love. Now, just to be clear, the unity and the metaphysical, the way that healing works is, it works when we recognize there's something that might be causing us distress, that feels unwhole, and we, instead of fighting it, it's not the denial, it's not this isn't happening, it's not this, there is no hell and it's not hot. It's not like that. It's standing in the moment and recognizing and letting go and letting whatever is be. That's a first step. You have to let whatever is be. Don't just deny it. Just let it be. Whatever, wherever you are, whatever you're feeling, whatever's happening, mental or physical or emotional, whatever doesn't feel whole, you got to just let it be. You got to relax and let it be. And then the next step is, which is in every single person has the gift of healing, which is to go to that unconditional love, the consciousness of unconditional love. And it always heals, it always promotes healing. The other thing I want everybody to remember is that everything we've done, even the things that the thoughts we've held that have seemed to promote maybe not wholeness, all of those things come from innocence, right? Because we do want to be happy. So everything we've ever done, right? Everything we've ever done, we do because we thought it would bring us happiness. Really. Even if we're choosing to be mean and rotten to someone, probably we thought we were getting something we needed to make us happy. So the nature, our jewel-like nature, which really is in us, is innocent. So remember that. You're innocent. You're innocent. In the back, you are innocent. We are all innocent. And that's okay. That's great. So never forget that. So, that lets you let go of everything that came before. I got there, I'm innocent. Consciousness is innocence. And I can just start fresh in this moment. And I can go for happiness, and I can go for healing. I think the last thing that I want to say about this is that the compassion that we call in ourselves we can start practicing for ourselves. We can also start practicing for others. It's wonderful because we know how hard it was for us to do everything that we had to do, to be here, to get up this morning, to be kind, to let ourselves off the hook and try to be kind again, whatever it was. We know how it is, and we know how it is for other people. So we have the compassion in us to keep holding that consciousness of unconditional love, let ourselves and everybody else off the hook, and keep going. And keep going. If this week, let us everybody think about either, if you want to think about that globe lit up, or the picture of the world and the little paper dolls around the world, or any picture of the earth. Think about that earth, our world, our people, and think about you holding it in your heart, each one of you, with unconditional love. And that is a critical action. It's going to make a difference. And the happier we are, the more we let ourselves off the hook, the more we choose the healing, the gift of healing, which is in every single one of us, everybody has it, then the more people will be dancing down the street with the happy song. Okay? In fact, next month, I believe, which perhaps you've forgotten that it's Rocktober, the band is working up an awesome rendition of Happy. And I think we're going to need some people who can dance. So I want you to let that into your heart and let that simmer around and come up and volunteer. All right, so let's take an offering for unity.